All right, y'all. We're back on live again. And let me tell you something. This has been one hell of a freaking week already. 2 days live streaming. All the live streaming is coming to you from Nashvox Studios right here off 4th Avenue. Singer-songwriters, somebody that wants to record a song, somebody wants to write a song. Y'all can come down here. These people will help you out, and it will just be an experience that you're just going to love, because you can ask anybody that's been in songwriting or an actual artist that goes into a studio and records. It is nothing but fun, and when you get done with it, you get such a sense of accomplishment that it is just something that will be with you for the rest of your life. So anyway, 5 o'clock, well, it was supposed to be 5 o'clock, and because of me and everything of my chaos, it's running over just a little bit. So we're actually getting started at 5:26. You believe that crap?
Hey, it's all good. You know, late to the party.
Everybody say hi to Miss Carolyn Miller, please.
Hey.
Man, I walked downstairs and you were sitting on the couch, and I'm just like, oh, shit.
Oh, it's good. I was catching up on emails, and you got to be fashionably late, you know, so.
Well, yeah, that's true. But you was on time. I was just fashionable. It was just crazy. So what all have you gotten into out here?
Oh, man. Well, CMA Fest is my favorite week of the year, truly. I love it from the artist perspective, where you get to perform, you get to see the fans, you get to hang and do all the things. I love it just from the perspective of getting to be a fan and go catch some shows. And so actually, like, I got my big show tomorrow, and today was running around, but yesterday I got to just be a fan. And so I was on the app like everybody else, making my own schedule and highlighting all my friends' shows and going to see them and standing in the crowd, and I'd be there bopping along, and then I had fans recognize me and take pictures with me. So that was like pretty fun and unexpected.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah.
I haven't experienced that yet, so we'll see one day.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
There you go.
But like, a couple of friends said, don't worry about what you look like. It's a podcast. And I'm like, yeah, dude, it's YouTube too, man. I mean, you're all
right.
out there, you know. And see, you're kind of like, you're getting the best of both worlds, because you split your time, don't you?
Yeah, I go back and forth between New York and Nashville. These days I'm a bit more in Nashville lately, just with everything going on. But I'm originally from Long Island, New York.
Awesome.
We say Long Island.
Long Island?
Yep, also known as Strong Island. That's the accent. And I'm from a town called Massapequa, which is also known as Massa Pizza, because it's a big Italian town.
Oh, yeah.
No, I go back and forth all the time. And, you know, I love Nashville so much, and kind of, you know, I joke it's like Hannah Montana, where you get the best of both worlds.
Exactly. There you go.
So yeah, no, a lot of plane rides, a lot of early morning Uber trips to the airport, but wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, but that's the whole chaos that's fun, though, I think.
Oh, I mean, it is thrilling getting that 4 a.m. wake up call. Not all the time, but when you get it and you know it's like dark out and you're getting ready and you're going to the airport, and it's just like you feel like there's an adventure ahead of you every day. And, and it is an adventure. And so I've always kind of been that go person. I work well under pressure. I like kind of moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So I don't mind it. It keeps life exciting.
That's cool as hell, man. Yeah, it's the thing I'm having problems with right now is you get to that point where you've got this chaos of trying to keep everything straight. Yeah. And then you can't do it anymore. So then you've got to hopefully find somebody that can help you manage some of the chaos. And then have you gotten to that point where you having to have people actually keep track of some things for you?
Yes and no. I have a great manager, and he's really helpful with just helping coordinate certain things. But I'm very organized and very type A.
Say, I can't do that.
Oh, I am. Yeah, I actually enjoy that. And like, I'm very like color coordinated in my planners and my day timers and like all those things.
Oh, so you're on another level, man.
I actually prefer to do it because I trust no one's going to do it as good as I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I'm like, no, I don't trust anybody else. Just, you know, I mean, obviously you get to a point where you have to start delegating, and you can't take everything on yourself all the time because you're too spread thin. And as an artist, like, your priority is performing and creating and writing and being your best self. And if you're also worried about like booking your band's travel and changing their flights and booking their hotels, that's time, which I have to do quite a bit. So that's the stuff that I can't wait to hopefully get to a point and be like, here you go. Like, I hate being the travel guide and doing all those itineraries, but other than that, I enjoy the organization.
See, that's I hate to fly.
I don't like it either. I'm better when it's over land, but when it's over water,
Yeah.
I have okay, this is a true story. I have recurring dreams, and like I hate to even speak this into the universe, but I have recurring dreams of like I'm on a plane that crashes in the water. So I'm convinced in my last life I like died in a plane crash in the ocean. So every time for some reason I go over at water, I have this like massive fear. And I've gotten better over time, but I don't like it. Like I don't like knowing that you're over the ocean and God forbid there's a problem with a plane. Like you ain't landing anywhere.
No,
you know?
it's just a splashdown, baby.
Yeah,
That's
no,
it.
So, you know, I have no shame in admitting that if I go overseas, I take a little sleepy pill and a glass of wine and I'll see you on landing.
Yeah, you're just done.
Yeah, it's not my favorite thing.
So you always go, okay, do you go coach or you go first class?
Oh, no, I'm regular coach.
Just regular coach?
Yeah, we ain't that fancy yet. We ain't that fancy. No.
I went to Cabo San Lucas.
Yeah.
And it flew over the water and everything. I mean, they went way out in the ocean and then come back, you know, and it was a wonderful trip, but that was only the second time I'd ever been on a plane.
Wow.
And
it's an experience.
What bothered me more, though, was some of the other passengers.
Yeah.
Because we were in coach, you know, and coach is tight.
Sure.
You know, and 2 rows up, you hear somebody starting to like almost hyperventilate or something, you know,
God.
and somebody else is saying something and you hear some talking and you're just like, oh, hell no.
No, I have my AirPods and I put my AirPods on the noise cancellation.
Yeah.
And I crank them up to their max volume, almost to the point where my AirPods are like, your noise levels are dangerously high. Please lower them a little bit. And I'm like, I probably should do that. But it helps kind of like tune it. I sleep with a white noise machine. Like I enjoy just kind of like blocking it out because, yeah, otherwise it can make you so anxious.
See, I can't do that because if I had something that blocked out everything,
Yeah.
10 hours straight, I mean, I'd be done.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
Well, I learned this trick. Well, I don't know if it's a trick, but I guess it's a fact. And I could be incorrect. So if anyone is watching this, please comment if I'm wrong on this. But I heard someone say that, you know, when you get to like 10,000 people, the doo, like the beeping, and then they come over and that's how the flight attendants know we've reached 10,000. You can take out your laptops, all that stuff. I heard if you hear 3 of those, that means it's like an emergency. Like, so whenever I hear doo, and there's 2, I'm like, oh God, is there going to be a 3rd? But well, knock on wood, there hasn't been. I think the 2 means the captain wants to talk to one of the flight attendants about an announcement of some sort. So it means like get to the phone. But yeah, every time I hear the 2, I'm like, oh no. So if you hear 3, I don't know, say a prayer.
Okay, I'm going to demand a refund because our flight attendant didn't even say nothing about that.
Oh man. Well, no, they don't typically say it on the planes. I found
this is just something you learn.
Oh yeah, this is on They wouldn't
So
announce
you
that.
flew
They're not
way
going to be
wrong.
like, "Hey, passengers, listen for the 3 beeps. We're in trouble."
You've flown way more than I'll carry her to.
I'm on probably like I don't even know how many planes a month at this point.
I'll tell you what though, if you do get a chance to get a break, go down there, go see Sammy Hagar's Cabo Wabo. It is an awesome little club down there.
All right. Wow. I don't know anything about it, but
Well, he throws his birthday party there every year.
oh, that's awesome.
And he just throws a bunch of people together on stage and plays. And it's just a big jam session all night.
I love crashing a party.
Oh, yeah. Hey, well, you know, fashionably crash.
That's right. Fashionably crashing.
So how many albums you got out? EPs? Any of that?
I have
Because somebody didn't put that on my little notes.
no, it's all good. So I have a lot of singles that I've released. I had one EP that was my first project ever I put out in 2018. And then I did I call it like 1.5 EPs because I kind of did a half of an EP at the end of 2021 as well. But, you know, in this generation and world we live in.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, right? Consumption of content. If you just put out an album or an EP and then you go quiet for 6 months to a year or 2 years, it's really hard to feed the algorithms and stay relevant. And you know, consumers, they want to have it constantly. So, I mean, my personal preference and what I do for myself is, you know, release a song every few months or every month, depending on like what the strategy is. And then you can bundle it into an EP or an album. But I'd like to work toward a project where I do maybe like single, and then like 3 more songs on, then it's a full EP. So a 6-song EP, but like trickle the first. That's called like the waterfall method is what I call it.
Well, see, that's what I'm running into here because with everything I do, I actually do the YouTube and then I do Buzzsprout. which is my podcast provider, host, and they put me on 16 different stations.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So I get all these stuff that I'm not used to, and it's analytics, and it breaks it all down. I mean, it even goes into age groups and all that stuff. Yeah. And I was releasing a show every Monday, and the algorithms were at a certain thing.
Yeah.
You know, then I upped it to where I was doing 2 shows a week. And I've probably blown the algorithm all to hell with this because 3 days of nothing but live streaming. So
yeah, it's a weird game. I mean, at some point you got to quit trying to crack it and just, you know, doing the best you can with the info you're given and what makes sense for you and what's realistic for you, because you'll drive yourself crazy. I mean, you know, as artists, we're told like post like 5 TikToks a day. It's like, it's not realistic. You know, I mean, I can make crap content, sure, and do 5 things a day, but it's not going to be effective, and that's not the point. So it's like, I'd rather put out quality over quantity.
Yeah, me and you on the same page.
And my music's kind of the same way. Like if I don't have something yet that I'm feeling like this is right for me in this time to release, like I'd rather let a little more time go by, focus on touring or social media or the other things until I'm writing or I get my hands on a song that I get to cut. Like I don't want to just release just to release, because I feel like that waters down then your brand and your quality of who you are as an artist. So I'd rather strike when you feel really confident and ready on something, and be patient and let the game kind of play out the way it's supposed to in the other time.
And that's, you know, that's something that I did, because when I first started this, and I know this goes for artists too, like you said, they're wanting you to do a certain amount every day and this and that. And I was told by several people that I shouldn't do more than 30-minute shows or 1-hour shows. Now, here's the weird part. I've done several shows, 2 hours and 58 minutes, 2 hours and 45 minutes, and they're the freaking leaders on all this stuff.
There's no rhyme or reason or prediction. That's why it's kind of like, you do you know?
And that's what I tell people.
Yeah.
Just do you.
Just you.
Quit doing the cookie cutter stuff. Yep. Just do you.
Totally.
That's what I love.
Yeah.
See, you're getting right in there with me. I love it. We're on the same page on bunch of stuff.
That's right. So, I mean, that's a good motto for life too, though, right? You do you. You know
exactly.
what I mean? Like,
well, I tell everybody, you know, I said this a while ago, and I'm finding myself saying it again because for some reason conversation's going in that direction. The best thing I ever learned was after 3 divorces and countless women in my life. And then I had a bunch of negativity from other people and people trying to push you in one direction or the other direction. When I learned 2 words, and I'm going to be nice, when I learned F it and just did me.
Yeah.
And then my daughter said it one day. She was like, just do you, boo-boo. And I'm like,
yeah.
F it. That's me. I'm doing that from now on.
And you know what's interesting is every artist talks about this. And I mean, I can attest this because I lived it also. And I mean, for when you're starting your career, like you want the longevity, you want the success, you want these things. And so a lot of people try to do what they think you should be doing, right? Or what's current right now, or what's the hot thing right now, and trying to find your way into doing that. But it doesn't get you anywhere, right? Because it's not authentic to who you are. And it's like the second you just, you know, say, screw it, and I'm going to be me and do me and focus on who I am and tell my story and tell my truth, that's when everything starts, you know, to cut through. And I've heard major artists talk about how, and they're massive stars now, but they were talking about they've only become massive stars now because it got to a point where it was like they just started telling their own stories and quit trying to fit into everything else. And that's when they've popped through. But like, I mean, for me, my biggest, most successful song to date is a song that I wrote alone in my bedroom as a love song to my husband on the morning of our wedding. And it was never meant to be shared or released or ever performed even. It was literally just a little gift for him. And it was so personal to like the number of years we've been together, for how we met, for what our favorite country songs were. And so that's why I just never thought it'd be anything that people would care about, because it was so specific. And yet that was the one that went viral on TikTok. That's the one that has been, you know,
just
picked up and received by everybody. And And you have to stop for a second and be like, well, why that song, right? Versus the other songs. And then when you look at it, it's like, because that was the most real thing I possibly have ever said in my life. So if you just go down there, and even Kelsey Ballerini, right? She's having a huge moment right now with her Rolling Up the Welcome at EP and Penthouse. And since her divorce, she's really like gotten so detailed in her songs. And she said something the other day, and she said, like, I don't know what it was, but I just told the most vulnerable truth I possibly had. And that's why she's having this moment. And she was like, I will just do that forever for the rest of my life and not worry about trying to have the commercial hit and do this. And
that's it.
It's just what it is, you know? So
Oh, yeah.
you do you, boo boo.
That's right. I love that saying. And my daughter told me that.
Yeah.
She was like, you do you, boo boo.
Yeah.
And ever since, and I've told other people that. I mean, it's amazing. Once you actually stop concentrating on everybody else's, how they perceive you and all this other stuff, because I'm willing to bet 85% of the population out there, they can smell fake, they can see fake, see snakes. Listen to me.
Seeing snake is
honey, this has been a long day. I'm surprised I'm not more tongue-tied, I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's so true. People talk about that in TikTok, even in like TikTok workshops or seminars. Like we all, especially artists who are kind of on my side of it, who social media is such an important part of the game. Like, you know, there's a lot of sometimes classes almost, or professionals you talk to in that world who will kind of guide you on like, this is the best practice, this is what you should be doing. And the number one thing they always say is like, the listeners and the viewers can sniff out the bullshit from a mile away.
Oh yeah, they can.
And if you're not someone that wants to do the dance, don't go do the dance. If you're not someone who wants to do that one trend, don't do that trend. Just do what it is, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the best piece of advice I guess I can give just for life or an artist career is like, just do what your truth is and what you want to do.
Yeah, because that's, let me tell you, and I'm telling everybody out there, if you just do what is true to you.
Yeah.
And cut out the negativity and cut out the bullshit, you will succeed 10 times more than what you did before.
Sure.
Because I had a lot of people telling me, you need to do this, you need to do that, blah, 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 blah. And I know y'all go through it because I've been in the industry for a long time and I've heard it.
Yeah. And also those things that, you know, you're shying away from because you're trying to fit into a different mold. Like those are the things that make you different. Those are the things that make you special. And those are the things that are so unique that no one else is going to have that story.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I heard this, I forget who said it, but it was an industry executive. And he said, when I get a pitch that's like, I'm like the next Luke Combs, this is the next Luke Combs, or this is like Carrie, or like the next Carrie Underwood. He's like, I don't even want that. I won't even open that email because we have a Carrie Underwood. We have a Luke Combs.
Exactly.
I want something different. So if you tell me you're the next Luke Combs, I'm not even going to care because we got Luke Combs. Why would we want a second Luke Combs?
Yeah,
you know?
why do you need a knockoff?
Right. Exactly. That's exactly it. And so again, I just think it's all back to the you do you, and that's it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here looking at notes now because unfortunately we didn't meet before today.
No, it's all good.
I love this. You've got so many influences on there of people that I actually love. Faith Hill, Kelly Clarkson, and oh my God, Adele.
Yeah.
I love that woman.
Yeah.
She is.
Martina,
yeah.
Carrie, all them.
Every damn one of them married. Damn it.
Damn it.
It's okay.
Yeah, no, I just love, you know, big, powerful, strong females that have something to say. And, you know, all those women do it with their monstrous voices and
oh God,
in a way that they could silence an arena and you could hear a pin drop. And I love that. And, you know, vocally, I've always identified with them and have looked up to them as a kid and covered all their songs and sang all their songs. And, you know, I also think like their stories are really strong. The lyrics are strong and
oh yeah,
you know, they're all people that necessarily weren't trying to fit into a mold, just did what they did and didn't shy away from what their sound was. And
I mean, here's a crazy story because some people don't understand. Guys have feelings too, even though we don't show them. I went through a bad breakup, and what helped me through that breakup was listening to Kelly Clarkson.
Which album?
The very first one she done.
Oh man, was it Miss Independent? Is that right? Oh man, she's got.
Only thing I had to do was put Mr. in there, and hey, here I am.
Yeah, Mr. Independent. That's right. You know, actually, so fun fact. So when she won American Idol, like I was really young, and I remember like coming home from school, and it was like my mom was trying to get me to go to bed because the finale was on so late, and I was like, please let me stay up and watch it. I remember like I voted for her. I called in, like I was like really young, and a moment like this was the first song outside of like Broadway and theater that I ever sang.
Yeah.
And so much so that all my friends' birthday parties, they made me sing this song. So there are videos of me, and I actually made a little CD at the time of me singing it when I was like 9 or 10 or something like that.
So cool.
And I still have that recording. So I'm sure one of these days it'll resurface, but yeah.
Well, you know, I might go dig it up. We'll add it to everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So you said theater. What'd you do in theater?
Yeah. Oh gosh, I did everything. So, being born and raised on Long Island, right outside Manhattan, I was just very lucky that I grew up around such a capital of the performing arts, and my parents recognized my passion and talent at a young age and were very supportive and did everything they could in their power to help cultivate that and help me explore it. So, started by doing community theater, and then it grew into me going into Manhattan, which led to then me getting signed by a manager and agent, which then led to me being a fully professional showbiz kid from the time I was 8 years old. So I grew up doing film, TV, theater, commercials, voiceovers.
Well, you've got a great voice.
Thank you.
And that's just a speaking voice.
Yeah. But no, kind of everything under that umbrella. I was a child actor kind of, you know, across the board. And so yeah, kind of a whole lot of stuff.
Well, I mean, you know, look at Taylor Momsen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of, you'd be surprised how many people started in theater or film and TV
yeah, well,
that
I'm
you don't
running
even
into
realize,
that.
you know? I mean, there's a lot of people, you know, Haley Orianto, who's on the Goldberg, she's has a country music career. Mackenzie Porter, who has got the Thinking About You, she was on a TV show for a long time. I mean, there's so many people that do it. Jennifer Nettles went back to Broadway, and she was starred in Chicago on Broadway. Carrie Underwood did The Sound of Music on NBC as Maria. Like, I think there's just something that in your performer's heart, you just love to tell stories. And sometimes if it's a little bit outside your comfort zone, or if it's something that, you know, maybe is challenging in a different way, or something that just tells a story from a different perspective of what you're just telling, I think is really interesting to all of us. And we love and appreciate the live performing arts. And so I think that it makes sense that a lot of us cross over in that world.
Yeah. And see, that's what's weird. I love going to T-Pack.
Yeah.
I went and seen Wicked 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was just like blown away.
Yeah.
Because it gave that whole different perspective.
Yeah.
Of The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, it's so brilliantly written. It's my favorite Broadway show. I went to T-Pack actually right before the pandemic, and I saw Hamilton. Yeah. And two of my really good friends were starring as the leads in that show as Burr and Eliza. So my husband and I, on my birthday, actually got like 5th row center tickets for like a super discount. And then all my friends who were in the show, or the stars of the show, they're like, we're only here for a few weeks, where do we go? And so I took them all to Pinewood Social.
Oh, cool.
And so we had so much fun. And yeah, that's the special thing too, with all the work that I've done through my life. I know a lot of people and, you know, these shows and stuff. So when they get to tour and come here, or even in Broadway, when I go back to New York and go see shows, like, odds are I probably know at least 2 to 3 people in the cast. So getting to sit there and support your friends and see them do their thing is really fun too.
Now, see, next time I want to go see a show and it's in New York, I'm calling you.
Yeah, there you go. I might have a hookup somewhere.
We'll do dinner. You and the husband, we'll go hang out, and then we'll go hit the show.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of good ones out there.
Yeah, I love it. And Celtic Women. Have you seen Celtic Women?
No.
It is awesome.
Really?
I've seen them twice now.
Wow, that's awesome. No, I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's they put on a heck of a show. And
that's awesome.
It's all Celtic music.
Cool. Sounds neat.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I appreciate any kind of, I'd go to the opera, I go to the ballet, I go to, obviously, country shows. And
I can't do ballet.
I know, it's not for everybody. Like, my dad's like, I'd rather sit at home alone all day than go see an opera. Like, it's like some of the classics it's just not for everyone, and I get it, but I mean I danced my whole life, so I trained in ballet my whole life, so I can appreciate it, but I can understand where like if you don't understand the art of ballet, like what's happening, it's like opera, you know, it's also not for everybody, but then some of those people might go to a country concert and be like, these people can't sing to save their life, you know? So it's like...
That's why there's a big divide between heavy metal and country.
Right. That's why there's something for everybody. Yeah. You know, in the world, there's something and there's someone for everybody. There's someone and there's something.
Nah, mine got hit by a truck.
Oh, jeez.
Ran over by a bus. Sitting at home.
Was it your truck?
No, it wasn't my truck. Although there's a couple, I could have. I mean, I'm telling you. Sitting at home with 5 cats and 6 dogs. Who knows?
Oh my God.
That is crazy, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to coin that term. Write that down, because I say that too damn much on this damn show. That's crazy. I say it all the time.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Well, if you do it with a cool accent.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man.
There you go.
I can't do cool accents. Hello, love. That's a little bit of crazy.
She's like, oh.
Hey, she's the one that keeps...
She's shaking her head.
She keeps that side straight. I do this crazy stuff over here. So, it's the way it is.
Yeah. That's
I'm sitting here sweating, so we ain't going to be the... We're just going to do a little bit more. Because I'm sweating. I know you're sweating. You got to be.
No, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been walking around downtown all day at CMA Fest.
Oh, this is cold for you.
Yeah, so I'm like, feels like air conditioning to me.
Okay, good, because we can sit here and go for 3 hours if you want.
Although I will say my scalp, I feel like got really burned today in the sun, and like it hurts so bad. Girls forget like this little part that we have in our hair. I always forget to put lotion on it, and I'm paying for that later.
Only thing you got to do is walk up to a bald guy and just get you a little bit of lotion off his head.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It'll be all right. So you shared the stage with Sam Hunt, Dustin Lynch, Chris Jansen, Ashley McBride, Walker Hayes, and I'm jelly over that, but the person you said before we went on air, I'm just like... you got a suitcase I can hang out with? I mean, I'll just go in the suitcase. You need a roadie? I'll be a roadie.
It's pretty wild.
And I didn't say no names because I didn't know if you could say anything.
Oh, you can say it. Yeah, you
okay,
can
well,
say
go
it.
ahead. I'll let you do it.
Yeah, this actually a week from today, I will be opening for Blake Shelton at the Barefoot Country Music Fest.
The man, the country king.
Yeah, the country king. So
I keep trying to do that little finger thing he does, and I can't do it.
Does he do it on The Voice?
That's what he does on The Voice. He points to himself all the time.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
No, I'm excited. I mean, he was one of the first country artists that I listened to, and I mean, got me into country. So I always said I'll feel like I made it if I ever opened for Blake Shelton, one day. Yeah. And so it's just crazy that day is 7 days from now.
So my big thing back then was Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
When he first hit. And I was, of course, I liked Waylon and Willie and all those, but I was a metalhead for years. And it was, I got the Iron Maiden over there and all kinds of stuff. But when Garth come out, it was like he rewrote country.
Yeah. I mean, what he did for country music was insane.
Yeah. And he's a big teddy bear sweetheart.
Yeah.
He's the nicest guy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, him and Trisha seem like amazing people. I was at an industry event on Monday, and Trisha was being honored, and she just seems like the nicest, down-to-earth human. Like, she'd be someone that, you would just be at a store, and she'd be online next to you, and you would just, like, start talking to her and have a conversation. You would never know it's Trisha Yearwood unless you recognize her. Like, she just seems like that approachable and down-to-earth that, like, she could be your waitress at the diner. She could be like that. Like, she's so that normal and kind and just sweet that you would never think that she's this like mega star. She's and I love what she said is like, she's been a cook. She's with her cooking show. She's got a book. She's like a best-selling author. She's got all these different things and TV. And she just said like, people will want to put you in a box, but you are all these things, so be all these things. Why? And that goes back to you do you, right?
Exactly.
Like she was talking about how when her cooking thing was coming about, that people would be like, you're going to kill your career and you're in music and no one's going to understand then if you're still in music or like what's going on. And she was just like, well, this is part of me and this is who I am and this is me. So like, I want to do it. And so she then just became a multi-hyphenate. You know, no one looks at Trisha and thinks of her as like Martha Stewart. I mean, she does have that great side to her, but Trisha's still Trisha. She's still like this mega country star, and that's just an additional extension of like this amazing woman that she is. And so it's
she's still, you know, she's got wife, mother, all those things, and it's just like a normal woman.
Oh yeah.
And she's got that really down-home quality to her.
Totally.
And I love that.
Totally. Totally.
And to be honest with you, most of the guests that I've had on, whether it's male or female or whatever, everybody that's been on the show, dude, I love you guys, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, y'all ain't got to come on the show.
I think it's country, though. Country is just very like that. And I think that's part of what country music is. Country music is a family and it's a community and everyone's got each other's backs and everyone is just wants to wake up and do music and be a good person and have families and do like country's just so approachable, I think. Right. You know, and so I think it just says something for what the genre of music is. And if you listen to then all these artists' songs, you can kind of see that, you know, whereas I think maybe in pop or R&B or hip hop, there might be a little bit of just a disconnect because a lot of times they're putting on these personas, right? And it's these certain characters they're almost playing. Like you look at a Lady Gaga or something like that. When she was in the prime of Lady Gaga starting out, you know, she was in a character. She was coming in a meat suit to the Grammys. Like she's doing these things like, you know, she's probably not going to sit down in a chill place and like do that kind of thing because that's part of her brand. But country's all about just being real people and relationships and just trying to do the best you can do with every day you're given and be grateful for it. And that's just what it is. And so that's why I love it. It's so special.
And that's what amazes me. Cause I mean, I've got great friends like Chris Turner and a bunch of them. And when I told them about, I was getting into doing this and they're just like, dude, you know, and I really love the family feel, the actual, let's help each other out. Yeah. You know, and it's a whole lot more camaraderie.
Yeah.
Did I say that right? Camaraderie? What?
Camaraderie.
That's it. That's the word.
You like combine commodity and
y'all
camaraderie.
Forgive me. I mean,
the AC's off. It's fine. The heats can't do them. No, but I mean, for real, like I can't tell you, like, I mean, I opened for Lee Brice and I actually got to sing I Hope You're Happy Now with him on stage. And after we went on his bus and just hang in and, you know, we were talking about how he was going deep sea fishing the next day and just, you know, random life things. And before I went, he was like, seriously, if you ever need anything, like, don't hesitate to reach out. Like, let me know if I can help in any way. And like, you know, he's this big country star and here's this, you know, girl that he's never met before until she opened for a show and he's having us on his bus and saying those things. And I mean, he means it. And I think that's true for a lot of these artists. And look, not everyone is like that, right? I mean, in every profession, not everyone's going to be like, you know, amazing. But like the majority of these people, I think in this industry are that way, including even the industry side and the industry executives. I've you know, rubbed elbows with so many super high up senior people at these labels or whatever it is. And they're the same thing. Like, if you need anything, let me know. Here's my cell phone number. Don't hesitate to reach out. And you obviously never want to like overuse that, but it's really nice to know that in a time of need, there's a lot of people that will always pick up the phone, and that's just country music.
Yeah. And see, that takes you back though. Me anyway, because I'm an old fart. That takes me back to when we were younger and all the kids in the neighborhood. We hung out, we done this. If something happened, the other kids were there. The mom and dads watched out over the other kids and everything else. And it was more of a community of people that actually cared about each other.
And you know, that's the thing too, is like, if you look at a lot of these artists that go on tour, for the most part, if you ever go to a show and you're like, who's this opener? Like, I've never heard of this opener. More times than not, the opener is a friend of the headliner, or they're a songwriter that they believe in, they want to write with them while they're out on the road. Or they're just someone that they're trying to champion and give a chance to, or give a slot to. Like, I think Kelsey took Carly Pearce out in the early days, right? Carly Pearce has taken out Hannah Ellis, and you know, I mean, Luke Combs takes out Ray Fulcher and Drew Parker, who are two of his like great friends. Like I think Ray was one of his groomsmen, and he's obviously one of his hit songwriters. But like, you know, other people go to the show and be like, "Who's this guy? How did he get that chance?" And you look behind the curtain. Mitchell Tenpenny took out Drew Green, who's a really great friend. So there's a lot of that, and it's the guys up top extending a hand down and doing it.
Yeah, and that's well, Way was on the show earlier, and he brung Sam Lowe with him, and brung his guitarist with him, and they did some songs, and Sam may be the opener for Way, but Sam is freaking talented, dude.
Well, everyone starts somewhere, right? I mean, all the headliners were openers once upon a time. I can tell you the first country concert I ever went to was in 2013. I saw Jason Aldean at Madison Square Garden, and his opener was Jake Owen.
Yeah.
And then the opener before Jake Owen, so the opener for the opener, with all the lights on, still in the arena, with nobody there, was a little unknown guy named Thomas Rhett. I mean, before you become a headliner, you're playing in open mics, you're playing in bars, you're opening for people. So, you know, I think the real country music fans, if anything, I find sometimes they get more excited about the opener, even because it's like they don't know who's it going to be and what to expect, and they know, and you can know when you're at a show and you're seeing something special and you're like, this person's going to be a star. You can just sense it, and then you're along for the ride.
It's what I call it is the goosebump syndrome.
Yeah.
You get the goosebumps on the arms and everything when they play that certain song that you've never heard before.
Totally.
But it freaking connects with you.
Yeah.
And once you get that connection, dude.
Yeah.
You got a fan for life, man.
Totally. And sometimes it's the song, and then sometimes it's just the artist or the performer that you fall in love with, you know, and you walk away just being like, man, I mean, I could tell you like Drew Parker, who's, you know, co-written #1 hits for Luke Combs and Jake Owen, and he's got his own artist career, signed to Sony. I found him on a stage in 2019 at CMA Fest, and I was like, who is this guy? He's amazing. I've been following him ever since. Actually, right before this, which is why I'm still kind of sweaty, I was sitting outside in the crowd watching Drew Parker at CMA Fest. I love him. That's the fun thing of when I'm off, I can get to go be a fan and support people and do it. But he was just so amazing and so good. And I still don't really know his music a whole ton and know like all the words to his songs, but I was just so enamored with the performance that he put on and who he was. And I feel like I could see who he was as a human, and just his energy level and his commitment and his professionalism was just something that I was like, I'm a fan for life, even without necessarily knowing all of his songs. It's just him. So yeah, I think it's interesting because you run around town for CMA Fest, and there's definitely a mix of levels of professionalism and experience and artist maturity, and he sticks out in the best way for those things.
And one thing is really stood, I mean, I've got this sheet. Everybody knows I hold the sheet up all the time. But the one thing that caught my eye, actually two things on here. Your songs and videos have been added to the rotation on Music Choice and the Country Network. That is awesome.
Yes.
I love that.
Cool.
And then you've got over 2 million plays on TikTok.
Yeah.
See, you younger generation, y'all can understand that stuff. I have to get my daughter to do TikTok for me.
Well, I was late to the party, and I needed younger people explaining it to me because I was just like, what is this stupid thing? I'm so busy. Like, I can't do, I'm already on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and my email blast and my blah, blah, blah. Like, how am I supposed to now learn this other app? And they're like, you have to do it. You have to do it. I'm telling you. And so I actually didn't create one until 2021, which I kick myself now because, you know, 2 months into making it, I had a viral video and it changed a lot of things for me. And I'm like, well, yeah, now I see what they're talking about, but better late than never, I guess. Fashionably late is the thing
there
today,
you go.
So I was fashionably late to TikTok.
And that was your song, When I Say I Do Today.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yep, When I Say I Do Today.
See, I'm going to have to pull that up and listen to that.
Yeah, well, that's that wedding song that I was saying that I wrote by myself that just, that's
what I was like, because, I mean, it pretty much says a lot right there in the title. But I could just see where you could build such a song like that and just, and on your wedding day too. I mean, that's the passion, the love, the everything right there.
Well, I'll tell you the thing that's crazy about it is, so it went to #3 on the iTunes country charts in not just the US, but also the UK and Australia. And that's all from TikTok, right? And so the thing that's so cool and mind blowing is when I get tagged in a video of someone walking down the aisle to the song in South Africa.
Yeah.
Or Ireland. Or Malta. I had to Google where Malta was. I had never even heard of that country, Malta. Apparently it's a little island off the coast of Croatia. Who knew? If you didn't, you're welcome. Now you know. Trivia question. But that's the thing where you're like, wow, this song that was, and the funniest thing is I wrote it for my wedding in 2018 and I just put it on TikTok in 2021. So it's been sitting around for 3 years. I was just like, I never played it. I never shared it because I was like, no one's going to care about this song.
Yeah.
It's literally something I wrote for him. And I didn't even think it was that good. I was like, I don't know. I wrote it by myself. I'm not that great, whatever. But it's just crazy that then all of a sudden that's the thing that is your biggest one. And so I'm looking really forward to singing that.
Did he
next
put
week
you
on
up to
stage.
it?
No.
He didn't.
I'll tell you what was the turning point. So in 2019, I played it live for the first time ever because I did a big hometown show.
Okay.
And it was the month of our 1-year wedding anniversary.
Oh,
and
so like another little tribute to him.
Kind of. Well, you know what it was? All of our friends and family were in the audience at this one concert. It was a big hometown show. So, and they all knew about the song because I had either played it for them or like, they just knew that was the gift I gave him on the wedding day.
Right.
So I was like, I'm going to surprise all of our friends and the cousins and whatever, and I'm going to play it. And so everyone was like crying in the crowd, mostly because I'm like, they just know me and they know Kevin and they were all there at our wedding. So like, this isn't a secret, whatever. But then my friends who brought friends to the concert were coming up to me and they were grown men in their 20s and 30s and they were like, you had me crying during that song. Like, what do you, and my friends were like, you have no idea the amount of people that were crying. I'm talking like men in their 20s and 30s that you didn't even know. And that really kind of made me go, that's interesting. Wow, really? And
that's a new analytical on its own.
Yeah, totally. And so I was like, okay, well, that's kind of cool. Well, maybe I'll do it again at another show and see what happens. And the same kind of thing kept happening. And then I continued to have these people come up to me like, well, are you ever going to release this? Because I'm getting married and maybe I would use this song. And I was like, I don't know, I'll think about it. And then it was a Monday, 2021. It was a Monday at 6:00. I threw up a little video. I was sitting in my car. I was like, I have this song. Everyone's telling me I should release it. Like, I don't know. I played like a clip of it. I went and did yoga with my friend. I came back at 9 p.m. like 3 hours later, and there was hundreds of thousands of views and tens of thousands of comments and thousands of shares of people being like, I need the song. I want it. Where can I find it? And I was just like, oh my God, I went viral. I'm going viral. and so I called my producers and we scrambled to rush and get it out. Now the song is like several 100,000 streams, which isn't a lot in the grand scheme of an artist's career, but it's a lot as an independent artist where that wasn't playlisted on a single playlist.
Yeah.
So every single one of those streams came from a unique listener that actively searched that song. So to have it be listened to hundreds of thousands of times, and that's just organically from people who sought out the song to listen to it, is wild. And it's still growing and people are still using it, and it's the biggest honor.
Oh yeah, it is.
And surprise.
I'm going back to my slogan. That's crazy.
That's crazy, man. So funny.
She's over there in her freaking phone. What are you doing?
She's taking notes. See, she's watching the show.
She's watching the show. You're it.
I love it. She's dedicated.
She does. She does.
She's the best.
I have. It's crazy. I've got a bunch of people that every time I put a video out, they're on it.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask, beg, or nothing. I mean, I don't hardly advertise a lot of stuff. And I looked the other day on the analytics, and I'm like, over 56,000 I'm reaching.
Yeah, it's so wild how it works. I have a cover of Stay by Sugarland that I put on my Facebook.
Oh my God, I love that song.
And let me tell you, it got like 300,000 views last week, and it made my Facebook followers jump up an additional 10,000 followers in a matter of a few days just from, and it was a Facebook reel. It wasn't even a video. It was like, it's like the TikTok version of Facebook. And it just brought an extra 10,000 new followers to my page in the last like few days. And so there's no rhyme or reason. That's an old video that I've shared 1 billion times. This one particular time I just reshared it to resurface content, and that time for some reason.
You might want to start doing those a little bit more.
Yeah.
Those spur of the moment things. Because every time you do a spur of the moment thing, it's booming.
Yeah.
So
that's the trick.
it's what do they call that thing? A niche.
Yeah, exactly.
You found a niche.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's funny because as a result of that, I feel like now all like 90s or early 2000s country covers, whenever I post them, those are my best videos because now I'm in the Sugarland algorithm. So I guess it's like for fans of Jennifer Nettles and Sugarland, like they respond to it more if I was to do like something more contemporary because I think my audience has kind of shifted from that viral video. Whereas on TikTok, it was like every time I posted anything wedding or when I say I do today, I was always guaranteed a certain number of views because I knew because that was being fed this way. So Facebook, I've got older 90s country fans. TikTok, I've got young girls getting married. It's like all over the place. So you're like, why can't we all just be one, you know? So then you're marketing differently or doing different content because this is going to be different for this audience. It's just...
That's why you do
you boo. Yeah.
We might have to coin that one too. That's pretty cool.
So funny.
Is that on a shirt somewhere? We need to find out. Hey, me and Carolyn might split the profit on this.
There you go. So funny.
It is hilarious.
Yeah.
It just amazes me because I'm telling my age again, but back then, with bands and everything, you didn't have all that. What you did is you played your ass off. Every bar, any bar, a VFW, a Legionnaires, or wherever, you played.
Yeah.
And back then, you stayed on the road 200-300 days a year.
Yeah.
Just out there.
Building one fan at a time in person.
Yeah, and if you go back to like the 60s and the 50s, they used to buy the big station wagons and the whole band and everybody would load in that station wagon and go tour.
Yeah.
At least now there's, big vans you can rent.
Sure.
But it's just, to me, I think the technology and everything and the reach.
Yeah.
Because you post one thing on YouTube, it's not local. It's around the world.
Sure. I mean, that's the thing, right? If this was way back when and I was playing my wedding song in bars or venues up and down the East Coast, like people might use the wedding song in New York or Florida or whatever. But I mean, the song was being used in these places, like I was saying, South Africa and Europe and all because of TikTok that they would never have known about my song otherwise. Yeah. They would never have access to download the song otherwise.
And see, that's what I'm saying. Y'all have actually got it a whole lot better nowadays.
The only yes and no. The thing that's tougher is that it's so much more oversaturated now.
It is.
Because anyone, like if you wanted to record a song, if you want to record a song tomorrow, you could open your iPhone, hit the voice memo app, record it, literally take that file, go to any website, TuneCore, DistroKid, whatever it is. They ask you for the file. You would upload that file into it. You would title it, and you could have that on Spotify within 24 hours.
I blame Bieber. Bieber started that crap.
Yeah, on YouTube. He's actually pretty talented, but yeah, no, I mean, it's just the generation that we live in. So so the algorithm's oversaturated. It's a lot more challenging and difficult to cut through. And then because of that, labels don't have the capacity to develop acts the way they did years ago because everything's now, again, streaming. No one needs to go and buy a CD anymore. No. That was a huge source of income for those labels, so then they could do that. So
I'm still heartbroken over the 8-track going away.
Yeah.
I loved 8-tracks.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't like it, you just hit a button and went to a different track.
Yeah, totally.
And it's, you asked me before the show some of my background. I was recording people using reel-to-reel. Yeah. And then we went to the ADAT tape. Yeah. And that's back when there was no line-ins. There was no DI boxes. Yeah. It was all mic'd, and it was in a basement or in somebody's room.
Well, the funny thing is that's also how I think labels went through a period. I think they're better about it now, but in 2020 they were getting fooled by like who actually was an artist because they would see on TikTok, they posted a cover that would go viral. Yeah. They would look like they got these millions of fans or whatever it is. They would sign them. Then you'd get in person, they really couldn't sing or they didn't have those skills or they didn't have those performance abilities and stuff. And so that's also where, but then that takes a slot away then from somebody else who may not have the social numbers, but then has all those other things in place. So, I mean, the grass is always greener, right? You can always but
I'm more old school though. I prefer, and I've probably got more people in my corner on this than on the other side of the street, but I'm more about a person that can actually play guitar.
Yeah.
And if they don't play a guitar, then don't stand up there and pretend you're strumming it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I know a lot of girls who do that.
Don't.
Nope. I play piano. I play piano in select shows because it's not a great setup for every country concert. It's got to be the right kind of vibe or whatever. But I have guitar players and they do that. And
Yeah.
I'm a trained musician and it's like that's insulting to the people who are guitar players. I had a girl, or I know this girl, and she's become quite a pop star, but I remember when I would be in a room with her, she would like take the phone, or I would like film her and she would be like, I just want to like make a cover. Can you, I'm just gonna like sit at your piano. Like, can you film me? And she would just pretending to be like moving her hands on the piano. And she's like, you can't see my hands in the video, right? So my hands are like below.
Yeah.
So it just looks like, and I'm like, no, you can't see them. But I'm like, but why do you want to do that? Because eventually like people are going to figure out you don't play the piano. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
going to be things. She's like, oh no, it's fine. It's like, it's just for TikTok or something like that. I mean,
And what do you do when a 10-year-old walks up and sees your video
Yeah.
of you pretending to play a piano and ask you to play just one song?
Yeah.
With that little sad look in their face, you know? What do
Yeah.
you do then?
Yeah. I mean, it worked for her, but she's in pop. It's a different world, right? Whereas country, I think that would never fly. Because again, country's, that's pop's about like the more persona and the character that you're kind of embodying as like this pop star or whatever. Whereas country, it's about authenticity and vulnerability, right? Country's built on authenticity, whereas I feel like pop is a bit more built on a persona.
Yeah.
And so I think it just depends on what your genre is and I guess what your audience is. But
I mic guitars, acoustic guitars. I mic the amps. All of it. I mean, I'm all about Shure microphones.
Yeah.
They have been tried and true all my whole life. That's what I love.
No, there's nothing more beautiful than I think an acoustic vocal and guitar, an acoustic vocal and a piano, and those are the moments that make people cry in a crowd, right? I mean, it's not the big banger rock songs. It's when Adele sits at the piano and plays something that rips your heart out and you can hear a pin drop, you know?
Yeah, Evanescence.
Yeah.
Amy Lee.
Yeah.
She introduced actual
My Immortal,
piano into heavy metal. And I was just like blown away.
God, she's so good.
I love her. She got me through some stuff too.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just the way she structured the song. And you know, nothing like My Immortal.
Right.
I mean, it's just, dude, it's just
amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Completely. It is just wild.
Yeah. Oh, music.
No, I'm burning up.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. This has been really great.
Well, I appreciate you being here because this has been nothing but fun.
Yeah.
And you can look in this camera right here and tell everybody where they can find you.
Carolyn Miller Music. Carolyn, L-Y-N, not Caroline. I get that confused sometimes. So
I don't understand why.
L-Y-N is Lynn, right?
Yeah, it's Lynn.
L-I-N-E is line.
Yep.
You know what's confusing though, and this is very confusing. So I know someone though named Madeline, but it's spelled L-I-N-E. And I get so angry because I'm like, you're ruining it for all the Carolyns of the world. Like, because she's like, oh, my name is Madeline, but it's literally spelled L-I-N-E. I'm like, your name's Madeline.
No.
But no, it's Madeline. So maybe I think people think that with Carolyn, L-I-N-E, it's
That's
Caroline.
my mother's name.
Which one?
My mother's name is spelled M-A-Y-D-O-L-I-N-E.
And how's it pronounced?
Madeline.
Oh, that's something else.
That's what she goes by.
Well, Carolyn Miller Music is where it's at.
Carolyn Miller Music. Y'all check her out. And I really do appreciate you coming on the show and hanging out.
Me. Good time.
And we're going to get out of here. This is the close of, wait a minute, what day am I on? Friday. This is the close on Friday. Carolyn, you are my last show for the day. It's time to go have some fun.
All right.
And walk around. I got to go see Chris Turner. He's at the listening room.
Nice.
No, he's not at the listening room. Where's he at? Downtown somewhere? Great. Now I got to go find
I'm going
him.
to the Bluebird Cafe after this. So.
Okay, cool.
All right.
I might wander out that way. You never know with me. All right, y'all, we're going to get out of here. Give everybody a good wave.
Bye.
And remember, like, share, follow, subscribe. It don't cost you a freaking penny. Just move the mouse a little bit and hit it. Helps out the artist, helps out me, helps out anybody that is creating content that you love. So we'll see y'all later, and toodaloo.